Welcome to the 360 Sports Network Road to the Final Four podcast series, where we break down each and every conference tournament on the way to the big dance to say who will receive those automatic berths to the NCAA tournament and whose bubbles might just have burst. Because before we can field that field of 68, we must first find out what happens in the conference tournament. I'm James Dotson, and tonight we want to look at the Northeast Conference. Now, only the top 8 of the 12 teams in the Northeast Conference actually qualify for the conference tournament. And this tournament is a bit different than your typical championship because of reseeding. After every round, whatever the best team, the lowest seed remaining, will play the worst team left, the highest seed remaining. Kind of like what happens in the National Football League after the first round of play. The top team in the Northeast, Robert Morris. Now, they lost their first 2 conference games this year, surprisingly both of which were at home. But they have since won 14 of their last 16 games, and including 5 straight to end the year. So you know how I feel about streaky teams, especially down the stretch. The Colonials are very balanced, and they are very deep. 6 players average 8.5 points or better each game, including 4 of them averaging double figures every time they go out on the court. 4 of those top 6 shoot 40% or better from 3-point range. And the guy I like the best for RMU is Lucky Jones. In the last 5 games, the 5-game winning streak to end the year, he is averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds per game. They've beaten the big guys in the conference. They split with Bryant. They beat Wagner in overtime. They beat Long Island on the road. The only careful thing I need to worry about is that they lost to St. Francis by 10. And guess what? That's who they get to play in the first round this year. So careful with the first round matchup if you are a Robert Morris fan. You already know what to expect. Now another team, the Bryant Bulldogs. They are relatively unknown, and for good reason. They were 2-28 last season. But what a difference a year makes. They're 19-10 this year, and man, do they put up points. Miami Starks leads the way, 17.7 points per game. They also have Alex Francis, who averages, not too shabby himself, 17 points himself. Frankie Dobbs, 13.5 points. Their trouble spot, though, is the bench, because they don't go more than 6 or 7 deep in terms of quality minutes. They've lost 4 of their last 7 games as well, so again, streakiness going the wrong direction. However, one of those home losses, too, is to Robert Morris. So if they were to face off later in the tournament, it doesn't look too great. They split with Mount St. Mary's as well, and their win came in overtime. So there's a lot of things that I'm not liking for Bryant heading into the tournament here. And finally, we can't go without mentioning Long Island, LIU Brooklyn. The Blackbirds love to score. They're one of the most fun teams to watch, honestly, because of their up-and-down pace. They rank 12th in the country, averaging 78 points per game. They had a 6-straight game losing streak over Christmas break, but they have come back. They've bounced back big time, 12-4 record since then. Now, their 4-year starter, Jamal Olasewere, he will make things very interesting for the Blackbirds because he averages 19 points and 8.5 rebounds per game. Now, if Long Island wants to win, and if they do win, it will be because of Olasewere. They've won both the regular season championship and the conference tournament last year. So you cannot forget about LIU Brooklyn. They are looking to become the first team to ever three-peat in the Northeast Conference tournament. And they play Quinnipiac in the first round. They split their meetings with them this year. So if they get past the first round, which is no guarantee, nothing's really guaranteed in this conference, to be honest. Then after that, it could be a great run, especially if their star player plays well. And finally, Wagner. They split in their opening round game. They split with Central Connecticut State this year. So again, lots of parity. Anybody could win these first round games. They are the lowest scoring team of the contenders in the Northeast. But they do go 10 players deep, and they all provide very significant minutes and good playing time. Jonathan Williams for them has been huge. In the last 5 games, he's averaging 18 points and 6 rebounds per game. So Wagner I have going far in the tournament as well. None of these teams have a chance to make an at-large bid. I gotta go with Robert Morris just because they've been consistent. They had a tough stretch, but they've been very solid down as the tournament has continued. I think that Robert Morris beats Long Island in a shootout game in the championship, and I see Robert Morris making the tournament as a 16 seed. But don't get too mad. You know, it could very well happen. This could be the first time ever that a 16 seed beats a 1 seed. And I'll tell you what, if Robert Morris is a 16 seed, I will be looking at that matchup, and I will be breaking it down because it's very likely that Robert Morris has what it takes to become legendary with the first one ever. Well, that's it for breaking down the Northeast Conference Championship on the Road to the Final Four special. Keep tabs on our website, 360sportsnetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at 3SNetwork, and get all the information you need to make sure that your bracket is the best that it can be. For 3SN, I'm James Dotson. Have a good evening.